Good? Nick? Yep. You guys good? All right, good afternoon, everybody. We're here today to give you an update on a double homicide that occurred here in Indian River County yesterday afternoon. So when I talked to the media yesterday about this case, we gave you the initial call at 3:01 p.m. It's just after 2 now, so we're 23 hours into this case. I know a lot of people, we were actually on the scene and we talked about the first 48, how critical that is. There's even a TV show named after it. Well, here we are 23 hours later. We had our suspect in custody in 12 hours. In 12 hours, we had him in custody. So incredible work by our team. Our folks have been working all night. Some of them have had very little sleep, and they are here with us today. I know that we have you here for another press conference, which we're going to do shortly after this one, and I appreciate you all being here early to discuss this one. So let me give you the rundown. When I stood with you yesterday and I told you these guys, we know they're not from here, right? I can't disclose all of the information at that moment. I can't tell you everything I know because we don't have next of kin notification done. At that moment, we have not positively identified them. But what we did know in that moment when I was standing with you is that the vehicle that was on scene was registered to a young man out of Melbourne. That young man was one of our deceased parties. And so we have some things on the slideshow here. Hopefully this thing works. How do I go? Go this way? So these are our two victims in this case. The family was notified late last night. Joseph Cardella was the registered owner of the vehicle. It was a Chrysler vehicle that was out there. His best friend, Logan Thompson, was there with him. These are the two young men that were killed yesterday. Both of these young men are 19 years old. They're both from Melbourne. On the scene, we believe that based on the position of the vehicle was actually next to a wooded lot. It was just a plain wooded lot. There was a house the next lot over. Mr. Cardella appeared as though he was running away from the vehicle and he collapsed in the yard where he ultimately passed away. Mr. Thompson was deceased in front of the vehicle near the roadway, right on the roadway. Very tragic situation out there. And so we're standing there with these two young men from Melbourne with not much information. And I'll tell you the key factor, which obviously our license plate reader system is a huge item in this, for us to be able to know at that moment, these guys hadn't been in Indian River County before. They just showed up today. We knew at 2:30, that was the first time that they had entered Indian River County. At 3 o'clock, they're dead on the ground. So we knew something was going on. There was money scattered about, which led us to believe that it was possibly drug related. So shortly thereafter, a brave young man came forward. His family brought him forward and said he came home. He was very stressed about what had just happened, and he wants to talk to you. And so our witness came forward to our detectives. Our witness was present when all of this occurred. Our witness led us within a very short time period, showed us a map of where the gun was at. We have a drug dog here in Indian River County for our schools. We brought out our drug dog, put the dog on the ground. Within 2 minutes, the gun was located that was involved in this. From when the dog hit the ground until the gun was found was about 2 minutes. I have a photo of the gun, which I'll show you in the slideshow. It's a handgun, 9mm handgun with an extended magazine. We know that many rounds were fired out there. We know that there was no weapon found on either one of these guys. There's no weapon in the car. There's no weapon on any of them. Our witness tells us that he traveled with our suspect, Jaime Mosqueda. He is in Department of Juvenile Justice custody now. He is 17 years old. That he traveled with Mosqueda to meet these guys from Melbourne to buy 1,300 THC vape pens. That's what this is over. 1,300 THC vape pens for approximately $3,000. Now, the kicker is there's only about $1,000 on the ground out there. This guy shows up with his gun and at some point starts firing off rounds. He eventually tells his family that it was in self-defense. Now, obviously, there's no weapons on either one of our victims in this case. There's no weapons located. Our victim says that he saw no weapons. There was no allegation that there was any weapons. He just knows that this guy started firing at these two guys, and they took flight. When they left there, they went to the address where we located the gun. Our suspect tossed the gun in the woods, and then got back in the vehicle. He dropped off our witness, and our suspect went home to Fellsmere, where he lives. Our team immediately set up on that residence. We were on surveillance for quite a number of hours last night. I was out there with the team. Our SWAT team was assembled, and we obtained a search warrant for the residence. At approximately 1 a.m., we executed a search warrant on his residence. He was in the home with a number of family members, and all of those folks were brought down to the station. The family members spoke to our team. They notified us that a similar thing had happened at their home. So our witness, when he comes home, he tells his parents, hey, bad stuff happened. They brought him right to the station. When this guy goes home and tells family, hey, bad stuff happened, they just hunkered down. They stayed at the house. When we brought him here, and they told us exactly what he said. And each one of the witnesses independently had a different version of the story about how he was protecting himself and all these things. But his story falls apart pretty fast. So last night, he was arrested and charged. Our team did an incredible job. He's charged with 2 counts of murder, and we are continuing this investigation. Again, we're 23 hours into this thing. I want to show you the gun that was used in this. This is the recovered firearm. And I think, do we have one more photo in here? No, that's not it. So it actually had the extended magazine that was in the picture. Is that the extended magazine? Is that the actual one? So that sticks out of the gun quite a bit when it's actually placed inside there. So 23 hours into this, our team has done a great job. We are still talking to our cooperating witness. We are very happy that our cooperating witness came forward, that the family was brave enough to come forward and start giving us information right away. And we are happy that our suspect's family is also cooperating with us and giving us information about what he told them in the time after this occurred. So with that, I'll take any questions. The crazy thing to me here is we're talking about THC vape pens. These 2 kids, 19 years old, lost their lives over THC vape pens. You got all this movement happening in the United States about marijuana, about THC, all these things, where now you can go get a medical marijuana card. Vape pens, you can go buy them anywhere. You can do all this stuff. These 2 guys are dead over vape pens. It's crazy. And we've seen multiple deaths over marijuana with these young kids. This continues to be a thing. So for all those people who want to talk about this, it's not going away. It's not going away anytime soon. And it's unfortunate that these folks had to lose their lives over this. I'll answer any questions you have. Yes, ma'am.
It sounds like it's an isolated incident. Is that the case?
Without a doubt, there's no doubt this is an isolated incident. It's clear that these, at least our suspect, lured these guys down here with bad intentions. He shows up with a gun. He shows up with not enough money. And, the exact what happened in those moments while they got out of the car, we're still working through that with our witness. But ultimately he fired many, many rounds at these 2 young men and took their lives unnecessarily so. To our folks out in Vero Lake Estates, don't know why they picked that area. Our victim, our suspect lives in Fellsmere, knowing that they're coming off of 95. It just may have been a convenient place for them to meet. And I feel bad for all the folks that live on that street who had to endure this. This is not a product of Vero Lake Estates. This is not something that should reflect on that community in any way. They just decided that 105th Court was the place to be, and that's where they were going to do this. And unfortunately, he fired off a number of rounds on that road.
So you said $3,000 worth of vape pens as all this was over, but how did he know that the other 2 people had those vape pens?
We're going through phones. We've recovered a number of phones. Based on our witness statement, it was the fact that they were there to meet up to do this transaction. I don't know the connection between Mr. Mosqueda and our 2 victims, how he knew that they sold those vape pens. Everybody consistently says that it was a drug transaction. It was a THC vape pen transaction across the board, and that ultimately shots were fired and those 2 young men were killed.
Did the witness say the witness was aware that Mosqueda didn't have enough cash?
So we're working through all that with the witness. We spent some time with our witness yesterday afternoon. We're going to continue to talk to him. He's cooperating with us. The family's cooperating with us, and we're very proud that he came forward and did talk to us. We still have a lot of questions about what happened out there.
Was the drug transaction just like taking place just on the street right in front of a house, or was it like, was it in a driveway?
No, there's no connection to any of the houses on that road. Literally where the car is at is where they were doing the drug transaction, which is directly in front of an empty lot, a wooded lot out in the Vero Lake Estates area.
Was the witness traveling with the suspect?
Our witness was with the suspect, yes. He was there, he was present for all of this, for the shots that were fired, for the weapon to be dropped off, and provided us with all that information.
Can you share the age of the witness?
I really don't want to get into too many details about the witness. You know, we're very happy that the witness came forward and his family was very smart about it, that they knew what to do and brought him right here to the station to talk to us. This guy's 17, our two dead guys are 19. He's a juvenile. He's another juvenile.
And was the witness, is the witness possibly facing any charges for the attempted drug deal that he was in the car for?
I mean, obviously, we're going to continue to talk to the witness and find out more details about this. We're happy that the witness came forward and that the witness is cooperating with us. You know, we need to work through all the details before we could ever say anything like that. Any other questions on this?
Just one more. Can
Sure.
you say what type of vehicle the victims were in and the type of vehicle the suspects?
The victims were in the, one of the deceased guys, Mr. Cardella. He had a Chrysler vehicle. That it was a two-door vehicle that they were in. The suspect vehicle, right now, we're working through that. We actually have a search warrant and everything, so I'm not getting into the details of the suspect vehicle. Yeah, I really don't want to disclose that right now. So we will be back here in just a little bit. We're going to go back and brief on our cold case, and we'll come back to you with an update on that. So thank you guys for being here on this one. One more question?
Actually,
Sure.
one more.
Yep.
The charges, you mentioned 2 murder charges, is that correct?
Yes, the charges are listed on the page here. He has 1 count of murder without premeditation, 2 counts, murder without premeditation, both of those. That's what's listed on there. Okay? Yeah.
Did any home cameras capture the shooting so far?
So far, we don't have any video of it. The way that they're positioned against the wooded lot, I don't suspect that we're going to have video of the actual homicide, but there's certainly evidence on many home cameras in Vero Lake Estates. So just give us a few minutes and we'll be back to you about the cold case. So thank you guys. Thank you for being here.